Hi there! You're watching the Gardens and Graveyards channel. My name is Charisma, and today we're meeting in the studio to do a little winter sowing, and then we'll take them all outside. So I've been doing a series of seed sowing in different methods over the last month. So if you're interested in different types of seed sowing, make sure you check out the Friday posts, because I've been typically posting all of my seed starting methods on Fridays, and this is yet another way that I'm starting seeds this year, and I've done them this way many times before. All you need to do is check out plant propagation in the playlist, and you can see all the different ways that I've been sowing my seeds. But this time I'm going to be doing what we call winter sowing, and we're using milk jugs, juice containers, and even a strawberry container that you would get like from a grocery store, just to show you different types of containers that work really great for this method. The whole premise of winter sowing is the jugs end up being like little miniature greenhouses and just give the seeds a little tiny bit more protection than if you were to just throw the seeds on the ground outside, right? So it gives it a little bit more warmth. It gives it some consistent moisture, because the condensation kind of gives it a different like humidity environment. And it allows you to get your seeds outside sooner than if you were planting them inside, because there's no real need for hardening off. Although it is recommended to open these up when you're getting close to planting, like your seedlings are maybe 4 inches, 3 inches tall. You'll want to open up the greenhouse winter method to just give it a little bit more exposure to the air around it, or around the seedlings. Anyhow, I've done this lots of times. It's a really kind of a tried and true method for me. I will talk about what seeds we're going to plant today, and then we will get started on making the milk jug greenhouses. Just have I've been planting on here, so there's like perlite and stuff. Anyway, all right, so for today we are planting cornflowers, the Blue Boy variety from Renee's garden, and Celine, which is a blushing lantern. And these I picked up from Florette, but they are discontinued on her site. You'll have to find them in a different place now. They produce seeds like crazy, so really easy to collect seeds from the Celine. Then I'm going to plant 2 different kinds of milkweed, or butterfly weed. This one's from Baker Creek, and the other one is from Park Seed. And then I will plant mullein. This is the Greek Verbascum olympicum. And it's from Strictly Medicinal Seeds. And then Shasta daisies, safflowers, asters, larkspur, and foxglove. So, super fun. I've grown the cornflowers, Celine, the mullein, the Shasta daisies, the safflower, well, I've never grown aster by seed. This will be the first time I've grown foxglove, not just natively growing around my garden. And then I've never grown larkspur before. So excited to try a few new seeds and a different seed starting method. So let me show you what I do with these jugs. You want to make sure that you put some drainage holes in the bottom, and I find that putting the drainage holes in the bottom before cutting the top makes a world of difference in control. So I'm just using a razor blade and sticking some slits in here. Because we have such a rainy climate. Okay. I prefer to have quite a few drainage holes in here. Because I've just found that if I only poke like 2 or 3, it doesn't drain fast enough. So I try to get quite a few in here. So I'll just put one down in the middle. Okay, then what I want to do is I want to make sure that there's plenty of soil for the roots to grow and plenty of space for the plants to grow, while also being able to create a lid. So I'm going to go about 3 inches deep on the soil. That gives me 4 or 5 inches on top for the plants to grow. So I'm just going to cut around the edge of this container. It's always the beginning cut that's, this is not my regular blade, so. Okay, I'm gonna get my safety. I'll be right back. All right, let's get a blade that I can control a little better. And really, once you get it started, you can get some scissors in there. The idea is I just want to make sure that I have a hinge, right? With the strawberry container, I don't have to do anything. There's already drainage holes. There's air holes on top. So we'll just fill that up with soil. Same with the milk containers. No, we actually don't use the lid at all. We just throw that out. Because we want the rainwater to water the seeds. If you're in an even colder climate, snow can go in there, and that's fine. Certainly, if you're choosing seeds that want that cold stratification, that's really great. So yeah, we won't have a lid on here. Just get this started. What I like to do is use my handle as a guide for where I'm gonna create my hinge first. So should we put some drainage in there. Okay, now that looks like a disaster, but we'll pop it out in just a minute. Then we're gonna start just below the handle and oops. Okay. Going with this one, I guess. Then I want to make sure that I stop basically on the other side of the handle so that I have a nice hinge. But that's it. That's what you're going to do is drainage holes, cut it around so that there's a hinge, and then we'll fill it with soil and we'll put the seeds in and then we'll tape them up. So I'm going to go ahead and prep all of these and then we'll reconvene. All right, now that we have those all prepped, I'm going to fill them up with soil. I just have my bowl here, fill it with some perlite. I like to put a little bit of perlite to make sure that it drains really well. And then I'll fill it with just regular potting soil. I don't use seed starting mix with this because it tends to dry out too quickly, and you know, it's out in the garden, so I'm kind of ignoring these. These are a hands-off seed sowing method that is really nice because you're like babying so many other seeds in other parts of like the greenhouse and underneath lights and whatnot. These I could just set and forget until they're ready to go out in the garden, for the most part, to just make sure that they don't dry out, and that's all that they need. So I like to use just regular potting soil for that purpose. Little full. All right, so then I'm just gonna go ahead and fill each one of these containers with soil, and then we'll begin planting. Alright, there we go. So, now the next step is to plant, label, and tape up. It's gonna run down the line and just do one of every one of these. I know that I'll be a little bit selective on how many go in each one. As I go. So like the Celine, they get really big and kind of crazy, so I don't need very many of those. So I'm just gonna sprinkle them in this container. I will probably also direct sow a few of these. Okay. They're so little. Getting stuck on the tape. Okay. That I'm just going to sprinkle them over the surface. These just need to be surface sown, so I don't need to bury them. I'm going to keep this open. Let's see. These things out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just going to open this up. Take the seeds and sprinkle them over the top like that, just like that, and that's it. And then I'm going to make a label because I don't want to forget. And I do find that labeling inside and outside is helpful. I'll actually turn this not towards the outside where you could see it, because all the condensation runs down the plastic. So I turned the label in so so that when I open it up, if the label on the outside has worn off, there's a good chance that I'll see it on the inside. Okay. So then the Blue Boy is also a self-seeding flower, a hardy annual. This wants to be covered by 1/2 inch. So again, we're just gonna be a little bit generous with them. These I can also direct sow, so I will try that as well. I'm just gonna take some soil out of here, sprinkle them around in there, and cover them up with about 1/2 inch of soil. This is okay. Done. We'll do Shasta daisies, which I don't need any more Shasta daisies, but I was curious to see how they do winter sowing. I've never grown daisy from seed on purpose, although I do have the Pacific Shasta daisy that self-sows all over my garden. So why do I want more? Because they're so fun and cheerful. These want to go in 1/8 of an inch. So again, I'm just going to take some soil out of here, sprinkle them around inside, and dust some dirt on top. And a lot of these are going to be going out by the creek side, up on the hill. All right, did I put one in here? No, I did not. Okay, let's do this. Do these mullein seeds, scattering on surface of sandy soil. Well, I think I'm gonna try them in the winter sowing, and well, okay. This is the medicinal mullein that should get like 5 feet tall. And I keep thinking that I'm buying it, but I keep buying pink mullein, which is not a true mullein. It's actually rose campion. I've learned my lesson. I've got plenty of that. I want the medicinal. So that's what this is. Hopefully we'll get a few plants out of there. They will self-seed. So if I could get some plants, then I will have seeds for life. Let's just make sure I write the right thing here. This is okay. Right. Now we've got these 4 larger containers. Yeesh. And we'll just go down the line here. We've got milkweed, butterfly weed, and this one is also milkweed. I don't know the difference between these 2 milkweeds are, but we're gonna do both, I guess. Milkweed is the flower that butterflies hatch on. They lay their eggs on milkweed, and there's different milkweeds for different regions. These are supposed to be the milkweeds that the swallowtail butterflies and the monarch butterflies in my area want to grow, or lay their babies and eggs in. So let's see what they say about that. It says to cover to their own thickness, which they are super flat. So I'm just gonna kind of press them into the soil, and then we'll cover them with vermiculite, and that should be good. Okay, milkweed. And this other kind just says butterfly weed. It doesn't, oh, this is tuberosa. So we'll see what the difference is. Okay. All right, we're gonna put this one here. This one is suggested to be sown directly, so I'm going to save half of them to throw in the garden and half of them to try this way. Okay. I have 1, 2, 1. All right, and I've got these asters, and it also says I can direct sow, but we're gonna try this way. Wants to go in 1/4 inch. Not a ton in there, so just gonna sprinkle them around. This is a free seed from Baker Creek, not one that I ordered, but there's a ton of different colors, so I thought that could be really fun to grow. This is the Matsumoto formula mix. Okay. Cool. Got a foxglove here, and I have some out in the garden now. This is the Alba. So this is a white foxglove. And I did put some out in the garden in the fall. I'm gonna try putting some, not in here. Oh, is this my last one? Maybe I won't do the foxglove. Do the foxglove. Okay. We're gonna do this on these. They are super tiny. So there's that. Save these for next fall. And then we've got larkspur. Okay, doesn't say. This is larkspur smoky eyes. I thought it was a really, really beautiful color. Okay, but a lot of these ones that I'm sowing for winter sowing would have been great to plant in the fall for a cool season growing flower. However, in my garden, fall sowing seeds tend to just rot and they never come up as a plant. So this is a way that I can grow cool season flowers and get them going. Most of these are perennials or self-seeding annuals. So once I get them going in the garden, they'll just keep replenishing themselves. So that's the goal. Okay, so then the next thing that we're gonna do is I'm gonna put some vermiculite on top of all of these just to help with any fungal diseases that they might be exposed to out in the garden. Especially since we're creating this sort of greenhouse effect, they will stay quite moist in here. Lots of humidity. So we just want to make sure that we do everything we can to help them along. Just gonna go ahead and give them a little bit of top water, not too much. I don't really want them draining so much on my desk here. So Just want to make sure that all the seeds get a little bit of moisture on the top to get them started off. And I should show you. Once they're all closed up and if you need to water them, you look in there and it looks pretty dry, you can just go in there with one of these or very lightly with your hose. With these jugs, you're going to take your duct tape or your duck tape and you're just going to close them up. Make sure you check to see which one they are so you can label it outside. Just want to make sure that they get fully sealed, because that's the whole point, is to make sure they're all totally sealed. I'm not worried about how pretty they look. I just want to make sure they're all sealed up. So we're going to go ahead and do that and then get them labeled. I can just look inside there and see what that is. This is larkspur. So I like to label the tape. It seems to last a little bit longer on there. And I like to put the date on the outside if I can. So I remember when things were done. I don't worry as much about variety because I put the variety on the tag on the inside. Because that's another good reason to have those tags facing in, so you could just look inside there and see what they are if the label wears off on the outside. Sometimes the labels on the outside wear off because the rain just gets too moist. A little bit of a gap right here from this design in the milk jug, so I'm just going to put this like that. And now you can't see inside of the jug, so we're good to go. All right, I'm just going to continue on that and then we'll take them outside. Go ahead and put these outside. They're all labeled, they're watered in, they're nice and neat little greenhouses. I'm going to line them up next to the side of our Palram Canopia hybrid greenhouse. There's like a little narrow walkway that is basically just for maintenance, which we don't really use, so that'll be a perfect place for the winter sowing jugs to live until they get placed out into the garden. So let's go ahead and pop out there and put them away. So I just lined them up right alongside the edge of the greenhouse. They'll definitely have lots of protection from cold, like freezing cold, because they're right up against this brick wall that may even help them get a little extra heat. They'll have plenty of exposure to rain, and I faced their labels out so I can read them from this side, and I can just look right down inside there and see if anything's growing when it's time. And so that is how you winter sow seeds. It's the first week of February, so you know, my garden is pretty much ready to plant out by middle of March, especially these cool season flowers. So that'll give it a good 6 weeks to germinate and start growing and getting some root systems on there so that I could have a little jump start to my early spring garden. That's gonna do it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have missed any of our seed starting journey this winter, you could go to the plant propagation playlist. Make sure that you like and subscribe to our channel so that you get notified whenever I post a new video. And we have 2 more yeah, I don't even know at this point. I have several other types of seed sowing to do. I need to do some in the greenhouse. I need to do some direct sowing. We've done winter sowing. We've done seeds under lights. We've done seeds in the windowsill. Like, we're just going for it this year. Lots of seeds. So make sure you're following along and see how things go. But until the next time, I hope that you're celebrating your life, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.